Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. I thought today we would sit down and just kind of have a conversation. Partly in response to my squirrel hunting video, not specifically to YouTube. Mostly on Instagram because I put the reel of Roscoe when he grabbed that squirrel and pulled him up out that tree, and I got all excited. And people on Instagram, there's a bunch of them, man, it really broke their heart because they had me perceived to this flower-loving hippie that, you know, just like to pick wildflowers and make medicine. I live among the mountain man idea that would have married the Native American women and lived in the mountains and lived that lifestyle. Not just the trapper that went over there after the money of the bear. See, there was a lot of mountain men that went into the mountains that was strictly there for greed. They were strictly there to see how many beaver they could wipe out and come back. And I do not agree with that. Not at all, you know. So let's be clear about the mountain men idea of things. And that is why I gravitate a little more toward the Native American side of life. And I'm sharpening my case knife right here that I've got. I just like to, when I sit down, be sharpening on a knife. Roscoe, come out here and sit down, son. You need to be on camera. Come over here and sit. Come right over here. Get over here. Sit, boy. Sit. These are my buddies. Y'all, but what I was going to say is I gravitate toward the Native American side of things. And not the idea that I thought Native Americans were peaceful and loving and had everything. In one of my other videos, I mentioned them, and people got sideways. You know, oh, they slaughtered. As long as they are different groups of humans, there will be war. Whether it's between race, whether it's between Democrat, Republican, whether it's between whatever an ideology. As long as men become divided over an idea and there's separate groups of people, they will conflict. And that's just how it will be. There's no stopping that. You never will. But I wanted to talk about hunting ethics and really what I believe, what I think about hunting. So in the reel, let's address that first. You seen Roscoe run up and grab a squirrel that had run up in a low hole in a tree and he couldn't get out of reach, and Roscoe got him. I mean, Roscoe was treeing him and pulled the squirrel out, and he killed it himself. And I was very excited about it, and still am. Not because I enjoyed Roscoe destroying and torturing a squirrel. He ruined a squirrel that I very much wanted to eat, and I did eat about half of it, but he destroyed the upper half of it. I mean, I had to throw it away, and I don't like that. But I wasn't going to scold Roscoe about that at the time, because here's the deal with Roscoe. Roscoe is what we call a feist, and a feist is not really a pure bloodline of dog. It is just a small breed of terrier. And I don't know what Roscoe is. Roscoe is pretty much a stray dog come up to a neighbor of mine's, and he had what I call a feist. It was probably part some kind of a Jack Russell. It had a little bit of probably Chihuahua or something like that. It was a smaller female. And there was a black male dog that came up there and bred that dog. They seen them and let it go and let them have the puppies. And I went up. Roscoe is not a pure bloodline of dog. You see these people that's got these small dogs, and these are diesel, and these are this, and these are that. But Roscoe is very excited and very high strung. He's very gritty. You've seen that. And he has struggled to tree a squirrel like he's supposed to. And the ideal thing is for him to go up to a tree, nose around and find a squirrel, find what tree that squirrel went up in and bark up it and let me know there is a squirrel up this tree, this particular tree. And I find the squirrel and I shoot him out. And ideally, he hits the ground, Roscoe goes and smells of him, and I pet him on the head and I put the squirrel in my sack. And I've got a squirrel to eat. Very seldom goes that way for anybody. Dog wants to eat the squirrel. because one of the best ways of getting a dog to really want to hunt squirrels is to let about a half live one get balled up on the side of his head, and he'll hate them from then on. So it's not about I hate the squirrels. I very much love squirrels. And if they're out here in the yard, I like to watch them. I don't have no desire in my heart to just go shoot one for no apparent reason. I don't like to hunt things in the warm times of year when I'm not going to be able to eat it. But Roscoe's very high strung, and when he gets all excited at first, he just runs ballistic in the woods, and he never would settle down and hunt. He would just get smelling squirrels and just run and hopping and bouncing all through the woods and just running wide open, and he'd run every squirrel off, and then he wouldn't have no clue what tree they was up. They'd been up and down so many trees down there, he didn't know where they was at. And he turns 6 this month. At the end of this month, over close to Halloween, Roscoe will turn 6 years old. And I have been working with him. I worked with him very diligently the first 2 years. And then I kind of backed off and I quit track because he had the want to. I mean, I did everything you're supposed to do. Live cages, dragged squirrel tails, fed him squirrel parts. I did all of that stuff. And I've let squirrels get up in trees. I've caught live squirrels and turned them loose, let them go up a tree, let him see them. And I mean, I did everything you're supposed to do, and probably some stuff you're probably not supposed to do. As far as doing it right, not saying I did something illegal. And Roscoe just too high strung, and this is the first year that he has really settled down. Now, he has treated a lot of squirrels in the past, but he didn't really know what he was doing per se. And he really had it dialed in this year. So I was very excited for Roscoe to get his own squirrel because it clicked something in him that those squirrels are to be got. And that was a good step in his life to realize, hey, I'm hunting squirrels and we're going to get these squirrels. If I'll find them and point them out, we'll get them. Either I'll get them or he'll shoot them out. We'll get the squirrels. And I was very excited for Roscoe. I did not just enjoy him slaughtering a squirrel, y'all. So let's get on to hunting ethics. I believe in hunting. I believe in eating from the land. I believe it's a very good lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that I was raised on. My dad taught me, son, shoot what you need, hunt, let's eat. You know, sometimes you have to kill things to protect other things. That's just part of life. And you eat from the land. Don't kill stuff that you're not going to eat or use. Don't just kill stuff to be killing it. That's not respectful. Because, in fact, these are God's creatures. They're his creation, and he put them here for a purpose. The next thing is I want to take just what I need because I want some to be there for the next time that I want to come back. It's easier for me to keep food alive in that swamp than it is for me to try to keep it frozen in a freezer or hung in a smokehouse or canned in a canner or whatever. When you're a very good woodsman, you believe that you can go back next time and be successful, and you're more apt to leave game there. When you're not very good at hunting or fishing and you get lucky and get on a bunch of fish or in a mess of squirrels, you want to shoot every one you see because you might not never get to shoot that many again. That's your thinking. And that's why some people go to a lake and when they get started catching fish, they don't know how to quit. They'll catch 300 and don't know what in the world they're going to do with them, but man, they bite and let's catch them, because they know they probably won't never do that again. When you're fairly decent at something, you know that when I need to, I can go there and get what I want. I firmly believe, and I'm telling you, I couldn't stress this enough. I don't have a problem with trophy hunting, but I'm not there for the trophy. If there's 3 deer that walks out, I'm going to shoot the biggest buck. I'm going to do that. But that ain't why I'm in the woods, is just to see how big of a deer I can kill and brag about it. I'm there because I want food. But I'm there for the peace of mind, to enjoy the outdoors. I have sat in a deer stand many a times and watched bobcats, coyotes, squirrels, rabbits, coons, all kind of critters play all around, and I never harmed anything. It's not in my heart to just murder things. So I could never stress this enough. Don't kill anything that you don't have a good reason to kill it. I do some trapping. You see a lot of trapping videos here. I pick and choose what I'm going to trap. Beavers are very much a nuisance animal in a lot of places, and people trying to regulate water and timber and pasture land and hay ground. I mean, there's a lot of things, and it is partly because as people, we have infiltrated the animals' habitats, and we're pushing them to where they don't have anywhere to get, and that's why it's such a battle. So in part, we are wrong, but we are steadily inviting new people into this nation, and the more people that come across our borders, the worse that'll get. The less room there will be for animals. So you can't, you've got to choose somewhere along the way where you stand in this. And you can't be for let everybody come to this nation, but let's let all the critters have free reign over everything, and let's all live in one little wad somewhere because we're going to all get sick with a disease and die. It's just how that works. So I firmly do not believe, though, in killing anything that I don't have a good reason to. And like beavers, if there is a place that we have to control this area, I'm for trapping the beavers. But down here in this swamp, there's some guys that trap down there, and they just beaver murderers. They don't have a good reason for slaughtering a beaver. It's something fun they like to do. And they do it in the name of, well, we don't want them damming up and flooding the ground. Well, right now, that swamp is as dry as I've ever seen it. If they were beaver dams periodically through that river, there would be some water for the fish. Right now, the fish are getting wiped out by the otters because there's no water, and the otters are playing havoc because nobody traps the otters. Nobody traps the otters down there in the swamp. So it won't be a long time, 10, 15 years, if it keeps getting dry every fall like this, there won't be a lot of fish in that swamp. Now, it floods through the early part of the year from somewhere over after the first of the year till over in March, April, sometimes even into May. This year it was, that swamp was flooded most of the time, had a lot of rain. There is a lot of fish that come back up here, mostly catfish and things that travel a lot. A lot of these brim and smaller fish that bed in certain areas, white perch, crappie. You know, we call crappie white perch here. I know they're crappie. There's not perch at all. But they get wiped out. They stay in these particular areas because this is a deep hole, or this is a place they favor this area. So, you know, there would be a good reason to have some beaver dams in there. The coyotes is another one. I have to trap the coyotes around here. I have to trap possums because of my chickens. I don't go way off down in the swamp and kill every coyote and every possum and every coon that I see. If they come up here around my chicken pens, I trap them. They have to go. I cannot relocate them. I'm not relocating animals that know where a food source is, because you would have to carry it at least 10 miles or so to effectively keep it away. 5 miles possibly. But if you carry a coon or a possum or anything within like 2 to 3 miles away from your home and put it out, he'll just about dang near beat you home. Because he knows where home is. He's traveled that area. He knows where he's at, okay? Probably better than you do. So, I know people have watched my channel. There's a lot of new people here, and you think, well, this guy, medicinal plants, just-in-time videos preaching. You know, I don't want to rub killing animals into anybody's face. I don't enjoy just killing things to be killing it. It's not like that. This is a way of lifestyle, but y'all, life is not like the Disney Channel. It's nothing even close. If you sit down in a deer stand very long in a place where the animals are in their natural habitat and there's animals there of various species, you're going to find that the higher the food chain is eating the lower food chain. That's the way it works. The coon that I videoed, there's a reel on my Instagram of very peaceful music. There's this coon easing down the creek and he's just scratching around. But in reality, that coon is pulling crawfish and little minnows up and just savagely eating them and just destroying life. But nobody was bothered by that because they couldn't vividly see it. But Roscoe pulls a coon out that me and him are going to eat and share. He got the bones out of it. He got the guts out of it. He got to chew on the tail and the head when I cleaned it. And I eat the meat. We eat the squirrel. It was food for us, but people was very offended by that because it looked a little more gruesome. See, you can't live this life based on feelings. Oh, I wish we could. I wish everything was just peaceful and harmony, but it's not. It's not that way in nature. Just because me and Roscoe didn't kill a squirrel, you know how many owls and hawks and bobcats are eating squirrels and just wiping them out. We have more hawks right now in this area than I've probably ever seen. It's never, when I'm in that swamp, I see at least 4 to 5 different ones. There is one eagle that I see occasionally, bald eagle, and they're eating squirrels. I mean, they're eating rabbits. They're coming down and just grabbing them up and eating them still alive, kicking and screaming for their life while they pull bits of entrails out. It's gruesome. Yeah, I described it that way on purpose because I have seen and watched this happen from a tree in the woods. You don't take for granted, but look at the dragonflies flying around. They're eating smaller bugs. And then there's birds come along, grab them and eat them. And then the hawks are eating the birds. And the cycle of life goes on. And we're just at the top of the food chain, and I pick which certain animals I want to eat. But regardless of what you eat, something is giving its life for it. You say, oh, I'm vegan. That don't matter, because the plants that you're eating are alive. How much habitat was wiped out of some animal that got killed by a tractor while they were harvesting your vegan food? So you're not taking away. I mean, the cycle of life is going to be there has to be life given for life to exist, and that's very much why in the Bible there was blood sacrifice. The first time that God clothed Adam and Eve, he killed an animal, and they made clothes out of animal skins. That was when death entered into the thing. Because of our life and of sin, death had to come into this. So we went down some deep rabbit holes. But hunting is one of those things that even though I understand that life has to die for me to live, I very much respect it. I don't kill anything that I'm not going to use. When I do have to trap up here and trap raccoons and different things, if I can find people that want to eat the meat, I sell them the meat. I try to make coon hats, make different things out of the hides, out of the skins. You see me tanning my deer hides. I use more of a deer than probably anybody I know. I kill 2 to 3 deer a year, and we use every part of that deer, just about it. When I throw a deer away, I throw part of the skeleton away. I make knife handles out of a lot of the bones. I use the antlers for knife handles. But all of the meat gets eaten. I eat the heart. Now, I'm not big on liver. A lot of people eat the liver. I'm not big on any of the guts, entrails, but they become food for other animals. I do not throw them in a creek of water somewhere and let them sit there and sour and spoil and nothing can eat it. I take them back here on my own personal property and I dump them out. And the coyotes clean it up, the possums clean it up. I feed animals like this, okay? Buzzards come along and eat a lot of it. All of this stuff has to eat, so nothing is truly wasted. I don't unnecessarily kill things just because it's there to be killed. And y'all, I believe this is the way that it is supposed to be. That don't mean that I can't go out and enjoy the hunt. I'm not a trophy hunter. I'm not mad at somebody that is. If you like to just hunt horns, provided you're eating that deer and you're using the biggest majority of it, I don't have a problem with that. Now, when you start killing way more than necessary and just that, when you go catch 300 fish and you throw part of them away, or a lot of people will clean them and put them in the freezer and then 6 months later, then throw them all out somewhere. That's just as bad as if you'd have thrown them away the day you caught them. It's no different at all. So hunting ethics, that's the way I live it. I like to give things a sporting chance. Roscoe grabbed a squirrel, pulled it out of a tree. It was very gruesome. But Roscoe, give that thing a sporting chance. Just because that squirrel chose the wrong tree to hide in, that was his bad luck. That was his bad decisions. He lost that day. But it wasn't in vain. It was to feed me. And I don't go kill more than I eat. I'm not down there so I can come back and say, hey, I killed 27 squirrels. Well, the limit's 8. I usually stop when I get the limit. Unless if I kill more than a limit, it'd have to be because I was having a big eating and there was a bunch of people coming and I needed to feed them all. And then I might make an exception to the laws of man. But I do try to abide all laws of land. Number one, I'm filming videos, and I would be an idiot to put something illegal on camera because that's evidence against you. So, I just wanted to sit down and address some of these things and talk about why things are like they are. Roscoe is my buddy. He is my friend. And I'm excited when he does his job and does it well. I've been scolded about this other dog being on a chain. Well, this dog has bit some people before. So whenever I've got packages coming, when I know there's people driving up, coming to see me, coming to visit, whatever, would you prefer that I put this dog on a chain where it don't come out there and bite you because you don't know it? So, you have to understand within context. A lot of people say, a dog on a chain is animal cruelty either way. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I disagree strongly. But, I'm just here in my thoughts today, trying to share some of my insight. I want to use every part of an animal. If I kill it, I've got a good reason. It's threatening my life or the life of someone else or something else. My chicken's being life that I'm protecting. I don't normally kill every snake I see. Now, if I'm down there around a boat ramp where there's a lot of people and there's a venomous snake there, I may very well kill it in that area just to keep somebody from accidentally stepping on it that may not see it and get bit if it's right there in a high traffic area. These are decisions that you have to make yourself to whether you're going to do this or not. Here's the next thing, y'all. Just because you may disagree with me on there and you may want to just hunt horns and you may want to catch 300 fish I'm not going to fuss at you for doing it. I'm not going to point you out and tell you how sorry you are for it. It's not my business. I can only control one person, and that is me. And then I can influence a few more, one being my son. It's my job to teach him the right way to do things. Can I force him to do it? Absolutely not. I can for a little while. But ultimately, when he grows up, he'll make his own decisions. And you will be the same way. I make videos. I try to encourage you to do things in a practical way. You need to be a conservationist. You need to not just kill everything they ought to kill it, because most of it is there for a reason, whether you understand what that reason is or not. Don't kill more than you need. Even if it's food for you, there's no reason to kill more than you need and gonna eat. And then when you do kill something, you need to have enough respect to know what you're doing with it. I feel like that's like deer. I want to process my own game. I want to cut it up. I want to cook it. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know how to cook it. I want to know how to preserve it. I want to know what I'm doing with it. I don't want to kill it and then be like, well, now I don't know what to do. I got this and I'm lost. That's one of those things you need to research before you shoot something. When you pull the trigger on an animal, you need to know how to process that animal. You need to know how to use as much of it as you can. And you need to have a good reason. And if it's not food for you, you need to have a good legitimate reason for killing it, not just a target practice. So anyway, I've about got this knife rubbed down to where it'll shave hair, and I ain't got no hair right here on my arm for this very reason. And I ain't got it sharp as I'd like it. So, because I've been talking more than I've been sharpening. So anyway, thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.